This is Vice President Fielder. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
So,
Thank you.
good morning. This is the December 17th, the time and place for our regularly scheduled business meeting of the Montana Public Service Commission meeting in Helena in the Bollinger Room. The time is 9:30, and we have myself, Commissioner O'Donnell, and Commissioner Bukacek here, and Commissioner Fielder is with us, telecommunications present. So we do have a quorum. Would ask everyone in the room, if you wish, to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So as unaccustomed as I am to chairing this, and President Brown is unavoidably absent today for having to do with his duties of the office of which he is assuming in a few days. So he's not with us today. But I believe the first order of business would be to ask for public comment. Is there any public commenters in the room who wish to make a statement? Please just approach right up here. Okay, please, right ahead. And if you would make sure that you push the blue button, the button on there for the, yes, either one, yeah. The blue light, and please state your name and spelling of your name for the record, please.
Okay, my name is Ralph Jackson, RALPH JACKSON, and I'm a resident of the North Star subdivision. I just have a couple of quick comments. The biggest one is I want to thank the commissioners and their staff for all the work they did on this summer's issues, and at least for the moment, they seem to be resolved. I even got my lawn to come back, so I appreciate that. And a lot of the questions that you're asking and requesting information on, I think are, assuming they're all answered, should be helpful to moving forward. I want to make one comment on the differentiation in the amount of gallons billed and the amount of gallons that they show used. One comment real quick is that they indicate that there's around 25 meters that aren't working. Just real quickly, if those people were averaging 20,000 gallons extra, that would be about 500,000 of those gallons. So that might be a large amount that they're averaging, but just a thought is that some of that is because they're not keeping track of all of the gallons that are being used, because they, those places don't have meters. And to keep in mind that the meters have been an issue for quite some time, and they were up in the neighborhood of 75 meters, almost a quarter of the subdivision at one time. So, I think the fact that they need to keep in mind that until everybody that they've got has a meter that works, that they can keep track of how much they're using, they're going to have a differentiation in that. The other main thing is communication. I think that the communication between the water company, North Star Water, and the residents is a really big thing. I mean, until the end, until they actually filed information, we were not aware of exactly what the problem was, what things they were doing to work on it. And some of those things were positive, and at least if we'd have known what they were doing, even though it's extremely frustrating, it would have at least been an opportunity for us to understand the process and maybe understand why it was taking so long. And lastly is the future. As I know Commissioner O'Donnell knows, this has been a long process and continuing process. And I think now it seems to me is a really good opportunity because of the nature of the problem that existed this time, for us to, as a public service commission, as residents, and as North Star Water, to try and come together and figure out what the solution is. I know they have to make a filing to make any changes, but if we could figure out a way to have some discussion or something like that, so that the people, the individual homeowners, could get some input. North Star Water could get some input, and we could kind of come to a place where it makes sense for all of us what the process is. Because I think that's half the battle now. It really isn't a process, but on top of that, we need to come to some kind of agreement. So for me, that's the other thing. Let's work towards the future now so that this isn't a problem. Biggest thing I hope they develop is some contingencies when problems exist, because they appear to not have had any. When we lost the pump in 2020, they couldn't get another pump. Admittedly, part of that was because of COVID. But, it took a big push from the commission to really get them to expedite the process of getting a pump. If they'd have had a pump there, if they'd have had some contingencies as to what to do when, if they had a situation like this where part of the pumps weren't pumping, then we would have had an opportunity. Maybe they could have reacted quicker and the response would have been better. But I would hope that they would have that planning a little bit better. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to make some comment today. And once again, we really appreciate the work that you did for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Any other commenters? Okay. Any commenters online? Okay, no commenters online. So we'll move to our agenda. So the first action item is approval of the minutes of the week of December 9, 2024. Is there a motion?
Mr. President, or Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. So move second.
A second?
All right. Any corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on that. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the meeting of December 9, 2024, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is passed. Moving on to the work session, the first item is number 2023.07.064 Montana Roll-Offs, LLC. Class D Motor Carrier Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity to consider a decision on protestant's joint motion for reconsideration. Ms. Webster.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Amanda Webster, and I'm a staff attorney with the Department of Public Service Regulation. As you know, this matter concerns MT Roll-Offs LLC's application for Class D Motor Carrier Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity, which was protested by Allied Waste Services of North America, LLC, and Mackenzie Disposal, Inc., which I'll refer to as the protestants. The commission held a 3-day hearing regarding this matter in mid-April of this year, and on October 24th, 2024, the commission issued Final Order 7980H, approving MT Roll-Off's application to provide construction roll-off services in Yellowstone, Carbon, Stillwater, Musselshell, and Golden Valley counties. On November 4th, 2024, protestants filed a motion for reconsideration of Order 7980H and a motion to stay. And at last week's business meeting, the commission voted to deny protestants' motion to stay. Today, the work session is on the motion for reconsideration, and before you is a memo that outlines and analyzes protestants' arguments. Protestants argue that the evidence from the April hearing did not support the commission's findings and conclusions that granted MT Roll-Off's certificate for its entire requested territory. Protestants also argue that the final order suffered from procedural defects which render it invalid. Staff has a couple recommendations regarding protestants' motion for reconsideration. First, staff recommends that the commission not reconsider its final order for any other basis other than finding a public need may not exist for MT roll-off services in Stillwater, Musselshell, and/or Golden Valley counties. For these 3 counties, staff makes no recommendation regarding reconsideration. The 3 counties are very rural, and the evidence MT roll-offs has in support of finding a public need exists in these 3 counties primarily relies on assertions from MT roll-offs members. Still, nothing requires the commission to evaluate need on a county-by-county basis, and under Montana law, the testimony of one witness is sufficient to prove a fact. Further, the commission must evaluate the evidence to determine whether MT roll-offs demonstrated that a public need for its proposed service is more likely than not. In staff's evaluation, the commission's determination regarding a public need in MT roll-off's entire service territory, and especially for these 3 counties, could reasonably be supported either way. Finally, staff recommends that the commission direct staff to issue an order on reconsideration to fully address the protestants' arguments, regardless of the commission's decision. And now I would be happy to answer any questions about the staff memo on reconsideration. Thank you.
Commissioner Bukacek, any questions? Commissioner Fielder, any questions?
No, I have no questions. I'm ready to either make or support a motion.
And thank you. I have no questions, but I will make the motion to deny the application for reconsideration and to direct staff to, as you pointed out, to issue the letter going point by point, addressing all of the issues that were presented. I think that is a reasonable approach. That's my motion. Second.
Oh, second the motion.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Commissioner Bukacek?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, yes.
I just want to clarify that your motion is to deny the motion on reconsideration and uphold the final order 7980H in its entirety, correct?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And any comments, Commissioner Fielder, other than that, which I appreciate?
No, yes, I think it's important to uphold our prior decision. We had a good full hearing on this and made it, I think, what was a good decision. And I will support the motion to uphold our decision in its entirety.
Good. Commissioner Bukacek? Any comments?
I had some comments, but I don't think they're going to be necessary.
Okay.
I support the motion wholeheartedly.
Very good. Thank you. And I appreciate the staff memo on the issue point by point, and look forward to a similar letter to them outlining our order that explains everything point by point. I deeply appreciate the work that staff has done on this. So please.
Be brief, going along with what you said. Our legal staff applied historically precedented standards based on Montana law when stating that the applicant met its burden with a preponderance of evidence. So really appreciate the work done. Very well done.
Call for the question on this. All in favor of my motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that will pass 3-0. Thank you very much, Ms. Webster. The next item, 2020.09.094, Commission initiated investigation by the Commission of the rules, practices, and services of North Star Development LLC and the adequacy of service being provided thereby to its customers to consider decision on Order 7744C to show cause. Oh, we have a bevy of staff here. Who is the lead on this? Mr. Fink.
I'm not the lead, but I am presenting today.
Okay.
Commissioner O'Donnell. Thank you, commissioners. As you just mentioned, this is in docket 2020.09.094. In your work session materials, you should have received a draft order for the decision on order to show cause, staff memorandum, and investigative request titled Exhibit A. These were also distributed last week. I'll start with the procedural history and then transition to the main points in the draft order. In July and August of 2024, the Commission received complaints from customers of North Star Development LLC about its water service and reliability issues. On August 6th, the Commission directed staff to investigate the issues raised and any remedies North Star has considered. On August 9th, Commission staff sent an investigative letter to North Star requesting information related to the customer complaints and possible remedies. North Star failed to respond by the August 23rd deadline. On September 11th, the Commission issued Order 7744C to show cause. Order 7744C ordered North Star to appear before the Commission to show cause as to why the Commission should not pursue the penalties prescribed in Montana Code Annotated 69-3-206 for North Star's violations of various Montana statutes, including Montana Code Annotated 69-3-201 and 69-3-208. In lieu of appearing before the Commission to show cause, the Commission informed North Star that it could forego hearing and file a written response. Also in 7744C, the Commission reminded North Star that the Commission and its staff are authorized by law to obtain information, and that North Star is obligated to cooperate with the Commission's request for information. The Commission also informed North Star that its refusal to cooperate in obtaining the information requested in the investigative letter subjected North Star to penalties pursuant to Montana Code Annotated 69-3-206. On September 20th, North Star filed a response to the investigative letter. The response failed to fully answer numerous questions. On September 27th, North Star filed a written response to Order 7744C. In its response, North Star states the utility had lowered wells 2, 3, and 4 to improve the water volume issues during dry months. However, excess water use may still be an issue unless new rates are assessed. The response also mentions that North Star intends to file a rate case application with the Commission for purposes of addressing the excess water usage. Having reviewed North Star's investigative letter response and its show cause response, staff recommends the Commission find North Star has not shown cause to avoid penalties prescribed in Montana Code Annotated 69-3-206 for North Star's violations of Montana law described in Order 7744C. Staff reaches this recommendation for the following reasons. 1. North Star failed to fully respond to the investigative letter sent August 23rd. 2. North Star failed to provide reasonably adequate service. And 3. North Star also failed to promptly file monthly reports with the Commission, which the Commission voted on at its May 10th, 2022 business meeting. North Star has filed these reports intermittently over the last 2.5 years. The draft order reiterates North Star's obligation to file monthly reports. For the reasons I just mentioned, and as discussed more in detail in the draft order, staff recommends a motion to 1. Impose penalties calculated pursuant to Montana Code Annotated 69-3-206 against North Star for its failure to cooperate with the Commission and its failure to provide reasonably adequate service. 2. Allow North Star an opportunity to be heard on the calculation of penalties. 3. Require North Star to fully respond and direct them to answer certain investigative requests no later than 45 days from the date of the Commission's order. And 4, require North Star to provide the commission with monthly reports that include specific categories of information. With me today, I have Sam and Lucas here to help answer any questions. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Do either of you want to add anything to that? Okay. Any motion to on this issue? Commissioner Bukacek?
I make a motion to approve staff recommendations, all 4 recommendations as enumerated and described by Mr. Fink.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
It is moved and seconded to adopt staff's recommendation. I just wanted to make a comment on this. As Mr. Jackson pointed out, this came to my attention as a new commissioner 8 years ago. And I have long realized in my mind that the motion that we're adopting today, if we adopt it, is something that I wanted a long, long time ago. It has absolutely amazed me and befuddled me why the residents of North Star have not had adequate service for all this period of time. Mr. Jackson referred to, as I recall, when the pump failed, and then we discovered that the pump that held in reserve was inadequate for the flow required to accommodate all the users on there, which just absolutely amazes me. The district, the water authority, has never been constrained by a limited amount of costs, and to say that you have to operate within this budget only. They have never come to us, as far as I understand, and said we'd really like to solve this problem, but this is what we have to do. And so it's never come before us on this. So in light of their reluctance, recalcitrance to professionally solve this issue, then I'm very much in support of the motion today. And thank you for staff's recommendation on this. Any other comments?
A couple questions.
Please go ahead, Commissioner Fielder.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with your comments. This is, I haven't been at the commission as long as you have, but I know it's been a problem that has gone on way too long. And I will be supporting the motion. I just have a question about Exhibit A for the staff, the investigative requests. These questions, most of these look familiar to me because I think we've asked these during our proceedings, but I wanted to get clarification from staff. Is Exhibit A, the investigative requests, are these questions that have already been posed to North Star and they partially answered, or is this a new set of questions that we're requesting within this 45-day time frame that's addressed in the order?
Commissioner Fielder, these questions listed in Exhibit A, there are 5 questions that were from the previous investigative letter sent in August, and there are 11 additional questions that are posed by staff to help obtain additional information about North Star, the system.
All right, so all of these then we would expect under this order to be answered in full within 45 days of the order. Is that correct?
That's correct, Commissioner Fielder.
Okay. And okay, thank you. I think that's the only question I have. I will just add a comment that these questions are all based on information that should be readily available by a responsible utility. And if the utility is not able to provide full answers, I think the commission should take up the question of whether this utility is capable of providing the service in a larger scale and potentially look at more drastic penalties, because we definitely need this utility to perform, or to get it in the hands of somebody that will ensure that it performs and delivers the required service to its customers. Thank you to the commissioners who have been working on this and to the staff that have also been working on this. It will be hopefully something we can, um, fully resolve here. Of course, we would if we could. The company's got to do their part, and if they can't, I will support using every tool to us available under the law to ensure that they do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Great comments. Commissioner Bukacek.
I've been able to shorten my comments because I agree with everything that the two other commissioners said, but North Star Development is in my district, and I've read every complaint provided this year, including one that came in yesterday. I've also met face-to-face with some of the residents and have worked with Mr. Fink. There are many reasons why the wheels of government turn slowly. In the particular case of North Star, I just want to assure the residents there's been no stalling, no lack of compassion, no lack of due diligence on the part of the Public Service Commission. Part of that due diligence is working with the investigated utility to give them opportunities to comply. For roughly 2 years after we waived the penalty to North Star in 2022, the Public Service Commission received no complaints from residents. Since complaints were filed in July and August this year, we've been on this. Staff has been in frequent communication with North Star management. Like you residents, we've been waiting for compliance, and despite staff's diligence in giving them ample opportunity, North Star has not complied and is deserving of the stiff consequences. And I stand in support of my motion.
Thank you. No, seeing no further comments, we'll call for a vote on this. All those in favor of the motion by Commissioner Bukacek say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. It is passed 3-0. Thank you, gentlemen. And that concludes our meeting for today. The next meeting scheduled is for Tuesday, December 31, and the regular time and place. However, staff, we may not have an agenda item ready for that. Staff will perform the proper notices for that meeting should that occur. Should that meeting not occur, this would be my excuse me, last commission meeting. You can tell that I love the commission. I love this job. I'm deeply appreciative of every staff member here. And I will miss this place greatly. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
It's been an honor and a privilege working with you.
Thank you.
I second that. It has. Commissioner O'Donnell, you've been stellar, very dedicated to this commission and to the public that we serve. So thank you very much for your service. And I would like to say off the record,